The call came at 3:42 in the morning. My phone vibrated like a fire alarm. It was the facility manager. He wasn't just angry, he was terrified. "Sir, the system is going insane. The AHUs won't stop. The building's an icebox on one floor, a sauna on the next. My tenants are threatening to break their leases. We're bleeding money and I don't know what to do." The system was supposed to be a triumph. A brand new, state-of-the-art building management system, just a few weeks old. We were told it was the brain of the building. But that night, it was a brain with a lobotomy, a body with no nervous system. Because honestly, no one ever told it how to think. The unwritten rule, the catastrophic cost of missing control sequences. The problem wasn't a crash, not a bug. The system was doing exactly what it was told. The problem was what it wasn't told. The designers gave it a body, all the wires, the sensors, the shiny new controllers, but they forgot the instructions. The schematics were perfect, the hardware was top of the line, but the control sequences, they were a ghost in the machine. AHU shall maintain comfort condition, pump shall start when required. That's not a command, that's a wish. And in a $20 million project, hope is not a strategy. So what happened next? Chaos. The programmer saw the vague spec and just did his best, he guessed. He coded in a basic default logic. Start the pump when the AHU starts. Stop it when it stops. Simple. Flawed. Catastrophic. The AHU's fan kept running all night. It ran a brand new chiller for no reason, chilling the water until the coils were a block of ice. The room temperature plummeted to 17 degrees. By morning, it had overcorrected and was pushing 28 degrees. The complaints became a torrent, the penalties started piling up, and the site became a battlefield with everyone pointing fingers, client, integrator, and consultant. Every single one of those failures traced back to one document, a control sequence that was never written. This isn't just one story. I've seen this exact mistake in airports, in brand new hospitals, in high-tech corporate campuses. It's not because designers are careless, it's because they're drowning. They're under impossible deadlines. They're juggling 10 projects at once. So they copy-paste from the last job, or they leave it to the next guy in line. Or they just assume that the simplest logic is obvious, but in the world of BMS, obvious is a 4-letter word. If it's not defined, it doesn't exist. So how do you prevent this? It's not magic, it's not more hardware, it's about being intentional. Here's a solid example with an air handling unit. First, it starts on schedule. Then, the outside air damper opens, the fan starts up, and the valve modulates using PID control. But the key part is this. The fan stops only when the zone temperature is less than 22 degrees Celsius and there's nobody in the space. And just in case, there's a fail-safe. An alarm triggers if the valve is open more than 90% for over 10 minutes. Next up, let's look at a chilled water pump. The variable frequency drive kicks in when the air handling unit calls for it. The speed follows the chilled water return temperature, and, if there's no flow for more than 2 minutes, the system trips off. Alright, so in fire mode, here's what happens. All air handling units are off, outside air and return air dampers are shut, and only the pressurization fans are running. This is what we call emergency logic. Now let's define the logic. Yeah, make sure you lay out the exceptions. Don't forget to spell out the fail-safes. And honestly, for God's sake, test it on paper before it ever costs you a dime out there on site. 3 weeks later, we fixed the system. We didn't replace a single piece of hardware. We just replaced the guesses with logic. We rewrote every sequence, tested every fail-safe, verified every mode, and it worked. Not because of more hardware, not because of a bigger budget, but because the system finally had a brain and a set of instructions. If you're a BMS designer, a consultant, or even a facilities manager reviewing a proposal, make this your non-negotiable checklist. Clear on and off conditions, set points and deadbands, emergency and failure modes, alarm logic, manual override conditions, and yes, sequence diagrams or flowcharts. Because if you skip this, the system might look beautiful and new. It might seem perfect on paper, but I promise you, it will fail silently, burn through your budget and bury your reputation. I've put a sample AHU control sequence in the description below. Feel free to download it and use it. It's the one we wrote for that project. If this story sounded familiar, hit subscribe. And please, share it with someone who is designing a BMS today. Because the best systems aren't built with hardware. They're built with a plan. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this.